Hi, my name is Julia Douglas, and this is my CLA2 for communications. Okay. Everyone knows the importance of sleep. They say that the younger you are, the more sleep you need to function properly, both mentally and physically. Teens and young adults are always being told, you need more sleep and go to bed earlier. I'm sure we've all been told that once or twice. If it is a widely known and understood fact that there are no downsides to more rest, why do schools across the country start too early to allow for appropriate sleep? All schools should start classes later in the day to improve learning for the health of students and to raise levels of attendance as well as graduation. School start times and whether or not they should be later in the day is an ongoing debate. Some say that it will allow students to get more sleep, in turn improving nearly every aspect of their lives, while others argue that students would simply go to bed even later since they do not have to wake up so early, destroying the entire concept and idea. But I think we need to give our youth more credit than that. The majority of students want to succeed. They want to have time to finish all their assignments, study for all their tests, get enough sleep to feel well rested for the school day, and still spend important time with friends and family. So why don't we give them that time? Starting the school day so early in the morning is just setting these kids up for failure, academically, physically, mentally, and socially. When students do not have to wake up so early for school, they tend to learn more and get better test scores. This has been proven time and time again across multiple studies. For example, investigators from the University of Washington and the Salk Institute for Biological Studies found that later wake-up times were associated with grades that were 4.5% higher than before. There was one study by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology that was initially created in order to track physical activity in college students to see how it affected their lives. The subjects of the study were 43 men and 47 women. However, only 8 students followed through successfully with the study. What the researchers found was that there was less of a correlation between academic achievement with fitness than there was with high grades and the amount of good sleep the students got. This study started out as a fitness tracking study, but was quickly found that even though there was a small correlation between fitness and academic improvement, it was mostly brain function. So when they exercised more of their bodies, their brains also got the oxygen and blood flow that they needed to function properly. So although it does have a small effect on the students, it was mostly sleep that they saw really affect them. When students got more quality sleep, they scored about 25% higher on overall grades than the students who did not get as much or as good sleep. They also tracked the type of sleep they were getting. For example, if they weren't sleeping very well, tossing and turning a lot, waking up during the night, these also had lower effects on their grades than if they got solid couple hours of sleep. Throughout several case studies, it is seen that academic success is directly linked to high amounts of sleep. In order to ensure that teens are healthy mentally and physically, they have to get more sleep. A study was conducted with about 28,000 high school students, and it was discovered that each hour of lost sleep was associated with a 38% increase in the risk of feeling sad or hopeless, as well as a 58% increase in suicide attempts. When teens and young adults do not get enough sleep, their immune system also cannot function properly. Researchers have found that adolescents who do not get enough sleep are at a higher risk of diabetes and long-term cardiovascular problems. So basically, the amount of sleep a teenager or young adult gets affects not only their mental but physical health. When they get more sleep, they tend to be less depressed, more happy during the day, and more alert, and less of them just really don't want to be at school because they have the energy they need to stay awake during the whole day. Also, physically, especially student athletes, tend to perform better once they're well rested, as well as other common health things such as good foods and enough water. Also, a later school start time directly raises attendance and graduation levels across the board. According to Caroline Christ, a writer for Reuters Health, she says, when high schools start at 8:30 a.m. or later, attendance rates and graduation rates improve. So this claim is not just a wild accusation. It's based off of a study in which a lead study author from Central Connecticut State University, which is in Britain, looked at school start times, graduation rates, and attendance rates. She looked at these rates for 30,000 students over 29 high schools across 7 different states. So as she's tracking these students, it was found that 2 years following the school start time being pushed back, the average graduation rates and attendance rates so the average graduation completion was 88% as opposed to 79% in past recent years concerning the same schools. Attendance rates saw a significant increase as well. Students are less likely to oversleep or run late for school if their bodies can wake them up more naturally. So this obviously happens when school times are pushed back because they're not going to bed late, having to wake up earlier than their body is rested for by an alarm. So they're less likely to be late, so attendance is higher, and so is graduation rates because they can really focus on their studies. So although there are some points that make sense for early start times for students, I think we really need to focus on the overall mental and physical health of these teens and young adults, and see that overall it is clear that later school start times are nothing but beneficial to students of all ages.